Hello physical fiends, it's Jordan here with another worth of purchase where I play a game for a short amount of time to see if I would buy it myself. For today's video we are looking at Biomutant, which after a long time is finally releasing on the Switch. This released on last generation consoles in 2021 and 2022 on the newer generation hardware, and it's been another 2 years, now it's on the Switch. Of course, it's available physically on the Switch, that's why I'm covering it, but it's also available physically on other consoles too. Links are below if you want to purchase it and support me, but is it worth it? As you can see, what was a visually impressive game with beautiful vistas has descended into, wow, this is a pretty good looking PS2 game. Which should be an insult until I remember most PS2 games are better than modern games. So it's almost a pro for me. But yeah, it's not a great looking game. There's tons of pop-in, many elements look super fuzzy. I mean, the character creation tool almost made me laugh with how bad some of the models looked, especially those with extra fur. They've absolutely butchered it to get it running on the Switch, and performance isn't perfect still. I mean, it's not horrendous or anything, but you'd hope with this amount of downgrade, it would be alright. It's not game-breaking, but still quite off-putting. The gameplay is an open-world action game with RPG elements. You have to make the Tree of Life survive, and can only do so by uniting the 4 other people trying to do the same thing with their contraptions. But that's a far-off dream at the beginning, because first you have to unite the tribes, which means the game comes with a sort of morality system, like good and bad, and after hearing the voice actor of the light angel that pops out, I immediately regretted my choice of being a goody-goody raccoon.
Let me introduce myself. I'm the light and bright side of you, or your inner voice to be precise. And
speaking of voice acting, this has the contradiction of having too much voice acting and also too little voice acting. See, none of the characters in this game have voice acting, but literally everything is narrated by a Stephen Fry wannabe, and it's perhaps the weirdest narrative choice I've ever experienced, because he essentially translates what the animals are saying and feeling, but it's done so in such a bizarre fashion. That was interesting at the start, but after 5 minutes it makes you want to get hit over the head with a fire extinguisher.
Sounds like he thinks she does, despite your heart growing dark. There's nothing as powerful as a Mooma's love. He heard you took out-of-date side against the scavengers in Bunker 101.
It's like he's explaining it to you as though you're a child, because it's just endlessly one guy chiming in over and over again. It sucks the personality out of every interaction. I guess they didn't have like a huge budget, so why pay loads of actors money when you can just pay one actor to do it all? It might have seemed like a cool concept, like Little Big Planet or something, but in the end it came out terribly, and I don't say that often.
He's grateful for that. You still seem to have a spark of light in you.
Thankfully, the gameplay is pretty fun. I mean, it's a modern game, so it's bloated to the hilt with different mechanics, crafting, looting, mutations, RPG upgrades, magic things. But if you keep it basic and ignore like a lot of it, just stick to the hacking and slashing and occasionally firing off your machine gun, it can be a fun enough time so far. It's labeled as a Kung Fu RPG, which in my short time with it, I have barely seen that, but it sounds promising and I am interested in going on. I've barely scratched the surface of this world, and even though it looks like a dog's dinner, I do want to explore it more. As I said, you have a character creator, and you can change all the stats and builds and even looks, which is cool. Perhaps a bit literal though, because if you want to be a smart ass, it will cost you having a stupid giant head. I created a pink and green monstrosity with an affinity for toxic things. It suits my personality. Now this is releasing physically on the Switch this week. It's been released already physically on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, and personally, unless the Switch is your only console, I would go with one of those instead. This is very much a suboptimal way to play it. I don't think it's like inherently bad. Maybe it's the retro gaming love within me that thinks, it's fine. But if you have the option, I would play it elsewhere. It's probably cheaper on those consoles by now as well. If you want to pick the game up, please consider using the links below. That massively helps me out. And would I buy this myself? Not at full price. No way. I would wait for a decent sale. If it's $20, why not? What do you guys think? Will you buy it? Please let me know in the comments. Have you played it before? What did you think of it? Help people out in the comments, okay? I hope you all have a great day.